the Thought Leadership Interview Series. I'm your host, Vicki Castori, and I'm chatting with Wells Bullard about two critical workplace safety topics, head and respiratory protection. Wells is the president and chief executive officer of Bullard, which invented the hard hat over a century ago. Today, the company is regarded as a pioneering force in the safety industry, specializing in personal protective equipment for emergency responders, as well as construction, heavy industry, healthcare, and life sciences environments. Thank you for joining me, Wells.
Thank you for the opportunity, Vicki.
Well, to start, I'm sure viewers would like to hear your family's story and your mission.
So I'm very lucky. My great-great-grandfather actually started Bullard 127 years ago in 1898, and we're still completely family owned today. And my great-grandfather invented the first industrial hard hat over a century ago, as you mentioned. And starting with our first invention, we've been really focused on protecting workers in hazardous environments with the goal of allowing them to go home safely at the end of the day. And so we innovate with our customers in order to keep them safe and keep them productive in the important work that they do. And in addition to hard hats, we also manufacture respirators and fire helmets and thermal imaging cameras. And we have the privilege of protecting the bravest customers, firefighters, construction, utility, infrastructure workers, transportation, pharmaceutical manufacturers, as you mentioned. We're just super lucky, and we protect those people all over the globe. And we do that right here in Kentucky. So we manufacture, we design, develop, and manufacture everything right here in Kentucky and send it all over the world to protect people.
Well, this is a critical mission, and I really appreciate you being here to help shed some light on what people can do to choose the right equipment for their unique environments and protect their workers. So let's get started with hard hats and head protection. A lot's happened over the past century, and there's a little bit of confusion right now just about how to choose the right equipment for your actual work environment. So can we start by just talking a little bit about type 1 and type 2 helmets? What's the difference?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And there is some confusion in the market that we're always looking to help educate people to be able to make the right choices for their specific applications. So type 1 is primarily designed to protect the top of your head. So impacts things that are falling from above you, right? And these are the most common head protection devices, and they really protect you from that falling debris, tools, or other equipment from above. And then type 2 head protection is designed to protect you both from that top impact and also lateral or side impacts. And there's been a lot more conversation recently. These are less common head protection devices, but there's been a lot more conversation about them to protect people from the top and the side. And so it's protecting you from that falling debris and also from perhaps collisions from equipment or machinery. And again, they're both great. It's really important to know what hazards you face in your environment so that you can make the best choice for the type of head protection that you need.
So navigating safety standards can also be tricky. And so what is the difference between the American National Standard for Industrial Head Protection and the British Standard European norm?
Yes, there is a lot of confusion and a lot of details to navigate for safety professionals to keep their teammates safe. These are two different standards. So the EN 12492 standard is a European standard for mountaineering helmets. And then the ANSI ISEA Z89.1 standard is the American standard for industrial head protection. And ANSI ISEA Z89.1 is what OSHA requires US employers to provide when they're providing head protection. They must provide head protection that meets or exceeds that ANSI ISEA Z89.1 standard. There are similarities between the two standards, but they are two very distinct standards, and ANSI ISEA Z89.1 is what is the American Industrial Safety Hat Standard.
So is there a difference in the performance criteria? Is one more rigorous than the other when you're looking at the American versus the European standard?
Yeah, so they're different standards and they have different performance requirements. And I think one of the biggest differences between the EN 12492 and then the ANSI ISEA Z89 standards is the coverage area. So the ANSI ISEA Z89.1 has a very large coverage area, which requires that the helmet meets testing throughout that whole large coverage area. And the EN 12492 requires the helmet to pass in pinpointed target areas. So to me, that's one of the main differences to be aware of because the testing and performance requirements are different. And again, OSHA mandates that US employers comply to the ANSI ISEA Z89.1 standard.
Which this leads to another question in terms of third-party testing, certification, declaration of conformity. How do you know that you're buying a helmet that meets these standards?
Yeah, so this is where labels and information and asking questions really matters for a safety professional who's looking to keep their teammates safe and for a teammate looking to keep themselves safe. So the ANSI ISEA Z89.1 standard doesn't require third-party testing, but many manufacturers absolutely do it, and Bullard does third-party testing. And so you have to ask your manufacturer for a declaration of conformity, which is a legal document that tells you that the product is third-party certified and passes the tests. And that's really key for confidence, right? It's really important as someone who's looking to protect your teammates that you fully understand, yeah, we've got this. So the declaration of conformity is something I recommend you ask the manufacturer for, and they should be able to provide it right away. And it shows that third-party testing and that product has passed the testing.
Excellent advice, Wells. And do you have other resources that can help organizations conduct an assessment or select the right head protection?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have, I think I have it right here. Yep, we do. Okay, application guide for head protection. So Bullard has this. It's very accessible on our website. Or if you go to bullard.com/hard-hats, you can find that right there. But it really helps you. The hazard assessment is critical, right? Every job is different. Every site is different. And so how do you make sure that you understand what are the risks that are facing your teammates and their specific work? And so how do you make sure that you can assess that? And so our application guide helps you to understand based on industry what are likely hazards that you're facing and what are likely criteria that you should be looking for in your hard hats to keep your teammates safe in those applications.
Thank you, Wells. This is an excellent overview. And I want to remind everybody that if you're looking at this video from YouTube or from workplacepub.com, you can also find links to these resources that Wells is mentioning. And she and her team are also producing 2 ebooks with us. And so there will be more resources available throughout the year. So I encourage you to take a look online. And those links will be easy for you to find in the description for this interview. So this is an excellent overview, Wells. Now let's shift to another critical area in workplace safety, respiratory protection. What are the most important factors to consider when choosing a respirator? And can you tell me a little bit about the key differentiators for Bullard's respirators?
Absolutely, yes. Respiratory protection is something that really requires you to understand the hazards again, and really I encourage people to work with experts who truly understand what hazards you're facing so that you can choose the right respiratory protection, because there's a really wide array of respirators that has a very wide array of protection factors. And that's from the N95, the full face respirator, to a powered air purifying respirator, to supplied air and beyond. So there's just a lot to consider. And so it's really important to know what you need. And where Bullard really differentiates, so first of all, we want to help you be able to find the right solution to make sure that you're protecting your workers in the right way. And then we really focus on the comfort and the cooling and the mobility, the ability to be comfortable and cool and confident in the respiratory protection you choose.
Yeah, comfort and confidence are certainly critical factors. And working with a knowledgeable supplier is always critical. So You mentioned that there are many different types. So let's run through a few of these. So, what's the difference between a full face respirator and a powered air purifying respirator?
Yeah. So the full face respirator, you're breathing through a mask and you're powering the filter, you're pulling the air through the filters with your heart and lungs. And a powered air purifying respirator, you have a battery powered blower that is pulling the outside air through a filter and delivering that filtered air through a head top or a face piece to the user. And so that's the big difference is the powered air purifying respirator is powering that with battery, with electronics, so that the wearer doesn't have to be powering it with their heart and lungs. And so it delivers that cool, consistent air to the wearer. And also, depending on which face piece you choose, often that comes with a loose fitting hood. And so communication can be enabled a little bit better because you can see people's lips. Often people are wearing respirators in loud environments. And so that helps there. And then also if you're wearing a loose fitting hood with it, it doesn't require any fit testing. So that's
Which is really important for people who have facial hair or, other issues that prevent a tight fit for their
exactly.
respirator.
Exactly. Yeah. PAPRs, powered air purifying respirators, just wind up being really comfortable, really durable, easy to use options for respiratory.
Great. And I understand Sightline is one of your latest innovations. And can you take a minute to explain the key features and benefits of this hood system?
Yeah, so Sightline, we're very excited about Sightline. So are our customers, but it's a first of its kind hood with, it's got 320 degrees of uninterrupted viewing, which again, we're not owls. So 320 degrees is basically panoramic. And the viewing window and the visibility and then that comfort and confidence really provides, it's a real game changer. And it was designed we designed it alongside our pharmaceutical manufacturing end users. And it really addresses some long-standing pain points that have been faced by life science workers, such as that limited visibility, the awkward mobility, constricted space. And so it works with our powered air purifying respirators, and it's just really comfortable. It's really stable. It moves with you. It enables good communication, and it's really easy to wear. And that visibility is just, it's a game changer. And again, doesn't require any fit testing.
This is an exciting development. And panoramic vision is something, a lot of people take off their PPE because it's limiting their ability to work. And so, really a
Yeah.
critical development. Before we wrap up, let's spend a few more minutes focusing on solutions for environments where it's unsafe to breathe the ambient air in the room. So, which industries or applications require a supplied air respirator?
Yes, so supplied air respirators are often used in painting, in coatings, chemical handling, abrasive blasting, metalworking, spray foam. I mean, a wide variety of industries, but that's primarily where they're used.
And another area that I was noticing when we were preparing for our conversation today is the air guard. So, how does an air guard protect workers and equipment?
Yeah, so AirGuard enables you to monitor and clearly see your air status in real time. And it also provides easy access to downloadable data logs, which is really key to enabling OSHA compliance reporting and just operational transparency. So basically the AirGuard is used to remove water, oil, particulates, odors, organic vapors from required grade D breathable air. So that cleaner air is delivered to workers or equipment. And there's a large LCD touch screen to just enable great user interface and making that calibration process really easy with this auto calibration. So it's a really easy way to clean and monitor the air.
Wells, can you touch on some of the key considerations for harsh environments? For example, how to select an appropriate blast respirator helmet.
Oh, yes, the blasting environment is a very harsh environment. And so it's really important to select the appropriate protection there. So the things to really consider there are airflow, visibility, comfort, cooling, durability, and that overall protection, because again, that's a really harsh environment where you've got rebound from the blast media and the environment that you're in as well. Blast is really near and dear to Bullard's heart. My great grandfather, who invented the hard hat in 1919, the first construction site that required hard hats was in 1932 with the construction of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco Bay Area. And while the workers were wearing their Bullard hard hats and trying to be as safe as possible, they were also abrasive blasting the steel to remove a coating in order to paint it that famous international orange. And so my great grandfather actually invented our first abrasive blasting respirator during the construction of the Golden Gate Bridge, and that's what got us into this. And it's really important. So today we offer two blast respirators, the 88VX and the GVX, which are two blast respirator helmets, and those really they offer great overall protection, that durability, and then also that airflow, that visibility, comfort, and cooling. So.
I love that story. It's just your family's legacy is so interesting and has made a tremendous difference in the safety industry. So, are there any other tips that you'd like to share with our viewers?
Yeah. So again, I think so. Thank you for the kind words. We feel that it's a real privilege to get to do what we do, and I think I'm going to sound like a broken record, but just I encourage everyone to make sure that you're doing a hazard assessment so that you understand the specific risks to the specific work and the specific applications in which you're working to be able to keep your teammates safe. And I also encourage that you engage with the teammates actually wearing the equipment and doing the work to see what's in their way. How can the personal protective equipment help them be even more productive and help them do their jobs even better? Personal protective equipment is only effective when it's worn. So it's really important that the wearers wear it, right? And that they are comfortable and confident in wearing it. And so you want to make sure that you choose PPE that meets and exceeds the standard, and that also allows the teammates to be really safe and productive in the work they do, so that they can work safely and then go home safely to what and whom they love.
Thank you, Wells. Like that's a really good wrap up. And in conclusion, can you just tell me a little bit about what makes Bullard unique and what makes you stand out from the crowd?
Yeah, so I think we believe that we're really lucky. We get to protect the most incredible customers, and we do it with just this amazing team of really committed, passionate people. But we spend a lot of time out in the field with end users, and we watch them and we listen to them and we observe how they're doing their work so that we can bring really purpose-built solutions to help them do their jobs better, and so that we can be the premier choice of safety champions. And safety is really in our DNA. So we've been making safety equipment since 1919, which was decades before OSHA went into law. And we really believe that it's a true privilege and an honor to help keep people safe so that they can go home after a day's work. They can go home to, again, what and whom they love. And we feel really proud to be able to do that work.
Thank you, Wells. I mean, I share your passion for safety, and that's why we're here at Workplace Material Handling and Safety. So this has been an enlightening conversation. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity.
So I'm Vicki Castori, Managing Editor of Workplace Material Handling and Safety Magazine, and you've been listening to Wells Bullard, President and Chief Executive Officer of Bullard. Thank you for watching, and please be safe.